What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Fumble Live. We're here again, telling you all the sports news that you need to know, and I think we actually have some exciting updates for today. But first, I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Jackie?
I'm Jackie Ray. You can find me on all things social media at JRayTheFanatic.
Including your TikTok. She has TikTok.
But there's nothing there yet, though. I mean, it's just a picture.
I'm Britt Johnson. You can follow me on all social media at IamBrittJohnson.
And it's where Chris, find me everywhere at CK2K.
I want to say Chris posted a really funny TikTok. I don't know when you posted it, but I just saw it.
I thought you said you had TikTok, Chris.
I confessed yesterday. I have a TikTok. And I posted my second
TikTok. You did it real low,
TikTok
though, and sly, like, I have
it was there. Because everyone was saying, because you said it, Jack, and I was like, yeah, me too. I'm out here, too. I got 2 TikToks on the TikTok page.
Yeah, you're doing really well. You have, 70 likes on one of them. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to get on the wave. TikTok
famous, and I'm over here posting all these awkward dancing videos and get 4 people see them.
Devin, don't even worry about it.
By the time you get a good fan base on TikTok, you'll be good at dancing. So.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope that's what happens.
Delete all the bad ones and have
get all those
TikTok guys and be perfect at it. And they're like, how did she know how to do this right off the bat? Yeah.
Such a good idea. I like that plan. So before we jump in to the need to know news, Britt, you had some info that you wanted to share with us, right?
Yes. Ian Rappaport just posted this on his Twitter, said the NFL owners have confirmed via a vote on today's teleconference that there will be expanded playoffs after the 2020 season. Source says expected and now official. One more team per conference. So, it's happening. I know we talked about the CBA recently and all the potentials that could happen, and they said they could extend it to a 17-game season and an extended playoff as early as the 2021 season, and they just voted on it for the playoff part, so that is for sure happening. No word yet on, obviously, if there's going to be an additional game added that same season, or we're going to wait till, future games. But for sure, after 2021, there's going to be an expanded playoff.
Very interesting. Well, what we're going to be getting into today is some news about NBA 2K that may satisfy our need to watch basketball. We also have some information about that ESPN docu-series or documentary about Michael Jordan, which is all very exciting. I know, Britt, you knew you would be happy about that. I'm going to be getting into some information about the Warriors and how they feel about LaMelo Ball. And then finally, that's my last story for the day. So, Chris, what's coming up for you in the post-up?
Yeah, short posted today. It's very Shaq-centric. We got a few Shaq topics. We got some Ben Simmons drama in there. And we also got a new coronavirus workout challenge out there by Britt's boy, Terrell Owens. And it's actually pretty funny. It's pretty iconic.
Terrell Owens, not Terrell. Terrell Owens.
Look, T.O.
They don't say things like they
say. That's whatever.
Alabama, say it right.
Right, Terrell. It's Terrell.
Yeah, you know who he is, 81.
And then, Jackie, what about for you with WTF?
Skip Bayless is a hater, first and foremost. We're going to talk about that. And then Patrick Mahomes is a little bit more humble than I think he should be. We're going to talk about that, too.
Okay, and then, Britt, any hints you want to drop about Britt's takes?
We are talking NCAA today, my favorite thing to talk about the worst group of people in the world.
Great, I'm excited about that one. Okay, so what did you guys all do yesterday? I want to know how quarantine life has been working for you. Are you finding a groove? Britt, why don't you start off?
I did a Taco Monday. So I cooked tacos, Spanish rice, black beans, and it was yummy.
Yum.
Yeah. I also worked out before I did that because I knew I was going to eat a lot. So I got my workout in and, feeling good. Feeling good today. I have a bunch of leftovers I'm about to eat probably immediately after this show.
Leftovers after the live are the best thing ever. I get so hungry after this show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same.
Jackie, what did you do yesterday? Erin, how's quarantine life for you?
I got out on Sunday, and technically I did my podcast yesterday, so Nick Hamilton was here. So we did this whole thing about social distancing, which is funny to me because he's literally here doing the podcast. I'm like, aren't we kind of in violation? But he has a kid, so he's caring for his parents too. So he already was tested. So technically, it would be me that would be
You're the problem.
the risk. But we still maintained a good distance and still did social distancing. So, but it was good. It was a good time.
You just gotta wipe down everything in your house when he leaves. That's it.
Yeah. So thing, we spray the mics with Lysol, and sometimes I forget because right after you do it, you get to the mic and you're like, oh, it's just too
breathe
close.
it in.
Punch you right in the face, yep. Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, Chris, how are you settling into the quarantine life?
Like I said before, man, it's no problem for me, man. I'll get outside if I need to, like right outside my house, be like, oh yeah, air's dope. It's pretty cool, and then go right back inside and get back to what I was doing. Like it's fine for me, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I said this yesterday. I'm like kind of enjoying it. I tend to not like to be super social anyway. So for me to just be like chilling inside and doing my own thing, reading, watching Netflix, like that's my ideal life. So
speaking of Netflix, have you guys watched Tiger King yet? I finally watched it. And
no.
It's crazy.
So,
okay. Is it good crazy or
word.
crazy?
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Britt, I want to know because everybody has said, oh, Devin, you should not watch that. It's going to make you really sad. And I know you're an animal lover like I am. So is it like super upsetting? I don't know. I haven't watched it.
There are parts, yes, where you're literally going to go crazy. And even I literally messaged PETA on why they supported some of the people in the thing after, and I'm like, how can you guys support this person and blah blah. I don't want to tell you who it is or whatever, but I was so upset in certain parts of it, but it mostly actually is about the people, and it's not a huge part of it is about the animals. It's about kind of the craziness is more with the people and what they're doing with each other and all of that kind of stuff, but there are some parts where you're gonna, because everybody told me the same thing, not to watch it, but when I got to a point when I feel like I've watched everything on Netflix, I was like, maybe I'll watch it, and I don't understand all these memes everyone's posting, so let me get up our pop culture and just watch it. So I just watched it. I think it's like 7 or 8 episodes.
7 episodes, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It is. Okay.
Long episodes, too.
Do
Yeah.
they get progressively worse, or does it taper off?
Worse as in, like, I mean, it gets interesting throughout.
Yeah, but I think the last episode we could have done without. Like, I feel like a couple of them, it could have just ended, and I would have been fine with it ending there.
Maybe
I should watch The Banker, though, on Apple TV. It's not as traumatic. Have you seen The Banker, Chris?
I don't have Apple TV.
You don't have Apple TV? I said that. I was like, what are these Samsung people going to do? Like, this is just...
I ain't got no
people
Apple
with
TV.
like...
I mean, I could do it in a way with my girlfriend because she has the iPhone and all that stuff, so she can log in with her stuff, but we just ain't got Apple TV.
Yeah, no, I mean, I watched it on my computer because I do have a Samsung. Well, no, wait. It's a Vizio, whatever the hell. I got one of those TVs, so I can't watch it on there either.
All right. Well, I know that I have now a stocked watch list for things to check out. I have Apple TV, so maybe I'll watch that after I finish Tiger King. Oh, okay. I'll get into it after the live. But for now, let's jump into the need to know news. So I'm going to start off with the information about this one, and then Chris, I know you have some extra stuff that you want to bring in. So the league announced that there's going to be a players-only NBA 2K video game tournament that will take place beginning on Friday, April 3rd. All 30 teams are expected to have representatives, including some big-name players, so that's kind of exciting. The league is still finalizing the details about this digital game simulation, but it'll allow NBA fans to watch some of the basketball that we've all been missing without worrying about getting coronavirus. I know that DeMarcus Cousins is one of the players, and just before we get into the matchups, which Chris, I know you have that, the Suns have been using NBA 2K to play what would be their normal schedule, so they've already been doing something like this, but Chris, take it away.
The only reason why I didn't laugh because you said DeMarcus Cousins one day. I only laughed because I just want to know who's he representing. Like, is he still a Laker? I don't understand how that's working.
Maybe he's representing the big three. I don't know.
I don't know what he's doing. And that's the other thing too. And I'm still waiting on because I've been talking to all my homies because obviously 2K. I'm in that world. And I've been talking to my homies. I'm like, so initially they said that they're having a player representing each team. But then on Friday's docket, we got 2 Clippers playing that same day. So I don't know if that goes towards the team, if they both get wins or whatever it may be. But then the other question was DeMarcus Cousins. So I'm still waiting on that information. We're all trying to figure all that out. But it's going to be dope because, you know, instead of you're just watching the 2 teams on 2K play, you're seeing the person playing it as well. So you're getting reactions and they'll be talking to each other, talking trash and stuff. So I feel like it'll be a different situation from the Suns. But yeah, the matchups we got, first of all, the first one's going to be KD going against Derrick Jones Jr. of the Miami Heat. Then we got Trae Young versus Harrison Barnes. Then we got Hassan Whiteside versus Pat Beverly. Donovan Mitchell versus Rui Hachimura. For those who do not know, that is the rookie on the Washington Wizards. Devin Booker versus Michael Porter Jr. Andre Drummond versus DeMarcus Cousins, representing probably the free agents. I don't know. Zach LaVine versus DeAndre Ayton. And Montrezl Harrell versus DeJuan Sports. See, DeAndre Ayton, that's 2 Suns. We got Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. So I'm trying to figure out how that's working.
Yeah, 2 Suns and 2 Clippers.
2 Clippers, right. So yeah. I'm assuming it's probably, I don't know if it's going to be over the whole weekend, so maybe points or, I don't know what it is. But I think that's pretty dope. And my 2 cents before you guys say that, I think it's better to have like the younger generation playing rather than your stars. I mean, KD, he plays 2K. He's been the cover of 2K and stuff like that. But like if I saw like Kevin Love playing or some of these other dudes that I know don't play 2K, I'd be upset as a Cavaliers fan or whoever that team is. So yeah. I think it's better to have the younger dudes play it.
Well, especially like even having older?
Well, maybe more than that. You're probably right, but I'm just saying, you know.
But even like DeMarcus Cousins, who wants to see, and like I can literally name people from all the teams he used to play for. Like when he played for the Pelicans, like have like Lonzo or Zion playing, or when he played for the Sacramento Kings, have Buddy Hield playing. You know, like there's so like all of the.
We got Harrison
teams,
Barnes.
There's already somebody there. Oh yeah, Harrison Barnes is playing. But
oh, sorry. I just want to jump in really quickly before I lose this super chat. We have Ricky who gave us $1.99. So thank you so much, Ricky.
Hey, appreciate it.
Okay, now back to the NBA 2K conversation. What I really want to know is, so Chris, I know you're going to be watching these tournaments, but
for sure, yeah.
Jackie and Britt, are you guys going to be watching? Can you start off, Britt?
How do you even watch them?
It's not ESPN.
I want to know. Okay.
I don't know either.
Like, I have to be on 2K and like just sitting there watching. Like I don't even know. So they're going to be like live on ESPN or pre-recorded and aired on ESPN?
That much I don't know. Normally, yeah, they would be live, but I don't know.
Well, I have to think, obviously, the NBA knows better than that because of what happened with CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard, like, to not have these guys go live on anything. Because when they're sitting there playing video games, you know they're going to accidentally say words that they should not say on national TV. So I feel like at least maybe a delay to where they can bleep it out or like have it pre-recorded or something.
Yeah,
because I think it has to be pre-recorded so they can add in graphics or cool things and make it look more interesting. But no, I'm not going to be watching.
All that said, that being said, no, I will not be.
But I'm not going to watch it.
Jackie, what about you?
No, I mean I don't even like. I have like no desire to watch this. Yeah, I don't even play video games, and if I do, it's more like Super Mario Brothers. So it's not like this isn't my thing. I don't know if I'm jonesing hard enough to watch video games. So
yeah, that's
enough for me.
That's how I feel too. Okay, so but I do have to admit, every time we get a new NBA 2K trailer that comes out, I always think like, man, I should play, because they really make them seem exciting and like they really hype it up. But then anytime there's an opportunity for me to actually get involved and watch, and they try and create some event out of it, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, I think the problem with me is like I've always tried to play. I've always managed to date guys who love this thing, but they're too competitive. Like when it's time to sit down and teach you, they're like, "Oh no, you're not doing it right. You're not." And I'm like, I don't want to play with you. I don't want to do that.
I think I'll wait till because I think the big 3 is gonna happen. The big 3 thing is gonna happen. So Ice Cube's been working hard on that, so I'm gonna just wait till that happens because that's supposed to be out like mid-April. Like I'll skip the NBA 2K thing and I'll wait a little longer. If the big 3 thing doesn't happen, maybe I'll circle back and watch it on Hulu or something. This NBA 2K thing, but I'm not like Jackie said, I'm not jonesing that hard just yet.
Right.
And you guys know you're gonna see everything online because there's gonna be clips taken from it, and Katie's gonna say something reckless, mentioning something. So you'll see the important stuff. Yeah, fact.
They'll do a whole sports center on it, so it'll be great.
Right.
Yep.
Well, we might be in luck because we won't necessarily have to watch NBA 2K, especially since that Michael Jordan documentary is actually set to come out earlier than they anticipated. So ABC and ESPN's debut of The Last Dance, which is that documentary, is being moved from June to April 19th. So episode 1 airs at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and then episode 2 airs at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, April 19th. So this documentary was teased way back in December, and I think people have known about it for a lot longer than that. But everyone's excited about it, and they realized that people are so desperate for some basketball that they moved it up to April 19th. So that is very exciting. Britt, I want to start off with you because I know you're a big Michael Jordan fan. What do you think about this? How excited are you?
I mean, I am so excited. Thank you so much, for having these editors have nothing to do, because as of a month ago, it wasn't finished yet. That's why they weren't even going to put it on the docket for any reason at all, because it wasn't even finished. But because of, the silver lining, everyone having to be at home, people have nothing to do. And editors have been able to just edit away and make sure this gets done, and it was finished, and now they're going to have it April 19th. And it's a 10-part series, so it's going to last a couple weekends. And I'm so excited. I cannot wait. And I mean, it's MJ, obviously, the newer generation didn't really get to experience any of MJ. I got to experience very little of him. My dad was, one of his bodyguards during his summer camp, so I got to see stuff like that when I was younger. But, even I don't, know. I mean, yes, I do know. I'm just kidding. I've watched every MJ, thing ever. But, this is going to be good. It's going to be, especially for the younger generation who doesn't know a ton about Michael Jordan or doesn't know his impact on the game, because when you literally see some of his highlights and things that he's done, it's there's no way somebody was doing something like this, he changed the game. He's the reason why the NBA stuck around, because the NBA was losing so much money. A lot of people were not watching the NBA as much anymore, and he revived the game, him along with the Bad Boy Pistons and stuff, I think. So I am so excited. I cannot wait. April 19th can't come soon enough. That's literally the only thing I have to look forward to in the next month. That's the only thing on my calendar that I've been able to type in. So I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm stoked about it too. It's gonna be a good thing to have to hold us over until the season resumes, and I think it is going to be very interesting. Jackie, what do you think about that?
I mean, I feel the same as Britt. I'm super excited. I was over the moon when I heard about it last night. The only thing that kind of made me go, I don't know, is I also last night read on the CDC website that best case scenario that we come out of this quarantine is June. And so I'm this would have been a great celebratory thing to have, once we're free and clear. But at the same time, I'm bored to death. And I 1000% agree with Britt. I don't think people really know that at that time, the NHL was threatening to beat the NBA in viewership, and Michael Jordan literally carried the league on his back and made it interesting again. And I think that the younger generation can see aggressive, strong basketball, and I don't think we have that much. It's kind of like a tennis match, everybody trying to do 3-point shots now, but this is aggressive basketball, and I think it's a beautiful thing just to be able to see that. And then maybe we'll have this younger generation that falls in love with Jordan and then does some research, and then in a couple of years we'll get back to the aggressive basketball. It's a win-win. I love it. Nobody else got anything to do now but research Michael Jordan, and I approve of that.
It's a good research opportunity. Okay, Chris, anything that you want to add to this before we jump into the final need to know news?
Just so excited that we're getting everything. We already, because Britt, I'm sure she had it too. There was back in the day, Jesus. But they had I think it was a 6-disc DVD of just everything Michael Jordan, behind the scenes and the playoffs and stuff like that. And I had that, and I used to watch that religiously as a kid. So now when they're talking about that, they have even more undocumented stuff, even more things that we have not seen before. I'm so stoked. And the biggest thing that both Jackie and Britt said, that hopefully some of these kids playing basketball or some of these kids going into the league will get from it is just what made him so great, and it wasn't just the shoes, and it wasn't just how dope the Bulls jersey looked with number 23 on it. It was what made him so great, and I'm so excited for that to see it all over again. So I'm hyped. April is better than what was it originally? June? What was it?
June, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
yeah, it's
I'm
way
hyped.
better. And plus, we're going into April tomorrow, so it's going to be basically this month.
And I love how they're like splitting it up, so I can't binge watch it because I won't go to sleep. If they all came out at one time, I'm not going to sleep until I finish it. So thank you for kind of spreading it out a little bit, so like, you know, I can like balance the rest of my life, because I would have probably said I can't do the Fumble today, guys. I'm I'm sick. Really, I'm watching Michael Jordan, like, yeah.
We would have seen her on Instagram Live while we're on Fumble Live. Like, oh, gotta watch this.
Gotta see this.
Okay, now our final update for you all. This is about LaMelo Ball and the Golden State Warriors. So the Golden State Warriors will have a top pick in the 2020 draft, but it doesn't appear that they have any interest in LaMelo Ball, which goes against a lot of what we've been hearing. We've heard that the Golden State Warriors were gonna, snatch him up. We heard it might be the Knicks. But according to the SF Chronicle, the San Francisco Chronicle, sorry, I have it abbreviated here in my notes, but it's actually San Francisco Chronicle. Anyway, their interest in LaMelo is very, very low. They said league sources don't believe the Warriors are high on Ball, not because of the drama surrounding his father, but because he's quite flawed for a top 3 prospect. They went into it saying Ball's court vision and passing ability are superb, but he has yet to prove he can knock down 3-pointers consistently, defend NBA athletes, or improve his shot selection. There's also the matter of positional fit. Ball projects as a point guard at the next level, and the Warriors already have a pretty darn good one in Curry. So, Chris, let's start off with you. I know the Knicks are hoping to get LaMelo on their roster, so how do you feel about this news?
Praying, not hoping. They're praying because we need that point guard desperately. I think the main part of the whole news was that last part. I mean, to say the other things, it's true. It's not wrong, but and you said it well in the video that you're going to see for the Fumble fans. Devin did the video, and you said it well that developing is a key point with a lot of these younger players. We see it all. Look at Brandon Ingram. Took him 3-4 years to turn away. So those kind of things, shot selection, stuff like that. When you're around vets, that stuff's going to get fixed. I feel like the biggest thing was the threat of showing Steph Curry a replacement and those kind of things. So for continuity for the team, I feel like that is the biggest reason why they're not going after LaMelo Ball. But I wish they went in a little bit deeper and said a little bit more negative things so other teams would buy into it and they wouldn't draft them either, so we can continue to drop down to number 6, because the Knicks would be like, oh yeah, cool, we'll take them anyways. So, but I believe that's the biggest thing, is more of the Steph Curry, pleasing Steph Curry than anything else that they're named on that list.
Well, it's true that the Warriors don't have as much need for somebody like LaMelo, exactly. So it wouldn't really make sense. Jackie, what do you think about this?
I mean, I definitely don't think that Steph would see him as a threat, because Steph came into the league, he was averaging 46% from the field, and LaMelo's only 37%, and only 1% from 3-point land. So I don't think that Steph would see him as a threat per se, but at the same time, once he and Clay are healthy and they're firing on all cylinders, it might not make sense. I do think it makes sense for a team like the Knicks, but I think at this point, just about anyone would make sense for the Knicks. I don't know if that's my best argument, but at the same time, I know they're downplaying the fiasco of LeVar, but when you think about the Warriors as a whole, we make fun of Draymond keeping his mouth open, or we'll tease Steph because he's holding Aisha when his wrist is supposed to be broken. It's very lame controversy that they have up there, you know what I mean? So why would you want to bring in something that is not lame controversy? It's you're cutesy controversy. You're not, oh God, here we go again controversy. So they're downplaying that, but I think that plays into it a little bit.
So you think that LeVar is negatively impacting LaMelo's chances?
I think, yes.
Then in that case, LeVar needs to say more. So then he can do it for the Cavaliers, can do it for the War. Say more. If that's
we do know that LeVar wants him on the Knicks.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Britt, any thoughts on this?
Jackie, you took the words right out of my mouth on the second part. I think it is a big part of the LeVar thing when it comes to the Warriors. I don't think every franchise feels the same way, but I think because of how the Warriors are and because they're, they don't really have any controversies and, everyone's best friends and they all hang out with each other and whatever the case is, I think that that's the biggest thing because obviously the whole he can't shoot threes. Well, you have the Splash Brothers there. You don't need him to shoot threes. So there's other things that you don't even need him for that you're dissing him on. When we all kind of secretly know, I think the bigger picture is the LeVar Ball thing with the Warriors. And like I said, I don't agree that that's going to be the case for other franchises, but just in particularly the Warriors, I think would have an issue. Obviously, the Cavs or the Knicks would be love to have them. The Cavs can't even sell tickets anymore. Their tickets are going for $6. So of course they would want some high profile player to come in there, and people are just going to go because it's LaMelo Ball. So I think that just that alone, or LeVar being in the stands, is going to help Cleveland Cavs or whatever. And he played high school basketball in Ohio, so I think it would be a good fit for him to go back there. And I think he has a huge following of people in Ohio. So.
Yeah, Knicks hat aside, I'm here just preaching it into the air that I want him to come to the Knicks. But honestly, I have it on my mock that I have the Cavaliers taking him. I think it would be a third, and it would make the most sense because then it would be James Wiseman 1, Edwards 2, and then him going to, because everything Britt just said, they cannot sell tickets, and they at least have that because he built a fan base over there in Iowa for the few months he was there to the point where the damn coach of the team left with LaMelo to go then be with them overseas in Australia and stuff like that. So, it would make a lot of sense if he went to Ohio for sure, or to Cleveland.
Yep.
All right. Well, that wraps up this segment for today, and now it's you, Chris. It's all you.
Hold on, I'm not ready. Okay, post up with your boy Chris, Quarantine Edition. All right, starting off the tippity top with Shaquille O'Neal, who we know now as a lot of things. Mr. Commercial, you know him as the guy on TNT, you know him as a DJ. What's that? Yes, Shaq is a DJ if you didn't already know, and he is making sure that he is keeping his skills top tier at home in his big old kitchen in front of an audience of what looks like you can see his two sons and family and stuff there. But this is a long video, and I fast forwarded to when the beat drops, so you guys can see the hyped, the level of hypeness in this living room when Shaq is on the turntables. Run it, Leo.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, wow.
No!
Oh wow!
Oh my God, it's too much.
Oh wow!
Yes.
I don't even have the space to do that in my house.
I know.
Right?
How was Sharif's big tall self able to stand up on the counter?
Right.
Man, and I don't know if that's uncle
on my
or
counter. I can't stand up on my bed properly.
Nah, man. And the uncle, whoever that one was that took the shot, man didn't need that part, but it added to the level. There you go. So I apologize to anybody who had Coachella tickets. I'm sure you were looking forward to seeing that kind of party over at Coachella because man, Shaq is hilarious. And we're not done with Shaq, and we're not done with Sharif either because Sharif got his own pops in a bit of a spin move that got him jumping. And probably 28, 25 prime Shaq would be looking at old man Shaq and shaking his head, being so upset that he actually fell for his son's pump fake. He posted a video on IG of the two of them working out. I'm assuming this is older or could be in their gym. I don't know. But look at that pump. Shaq fell for it. I want to say that he did it as a drill, but I'm not going to let Shaq off with that easy. I think he just fell for it. Fell for the pump.
Yeah, for sure. Shaq is not one to let his sons get any kind of he don't even let his daughter, he will literally try to block his daughter's shots all the time. And that's why his kids are probably getting so good at basketball, is because he never let down on them. He always pushed them, and he for sure, that wasn't that wasn't just I'm your daddy, so I'm being nice to you.
Nah, no freebies. Yeah, so there you go, Sharif. Take that. Now we'll give you that point then. So you took that on him. Next one, we got a little bit of drama. All right, so we got a little bit of drama. We don't have much drama in post up. With this one, we got a little bit of drama. But here's the thing: is it drama? We'll decide at the end. Ben Simmons. We always talk about Ben Simmons, and more times than not, it doesn't really have to do with basketball. And unfortunately, this time doesn't have to do with basketball. Once again, we're talking about his on and off relationship with Kendall Jenner. And I guess in one of the 50 times that they were together, he got himself mixed up with this lady that you're looking at right now. Her name's Kenzie Taylor, who apparently Ben Simmons was all up in her DMs, all up on her IG, all up on her Snapchat, trying to get at her while he was with Kendall Jenner. Now, I guess because of, the fact that we don't have much things to do because we're all staying inside and stuff like that, it makes sense that she would post this to try to expose him. But I have a question for you ladies. Should we care? Or is this
I would like her to care about cleaning up the background of her pictures before she takes them. You see her drawers and bras hanging on the back.
1,000. And that's why the cheating didn't work out. He's like, ooh, she nasty.
Yeah. Leo found. He's like, I got it.
Well,
this picture.
So here's what I love hearing about the messy drama that these athletes get themselves into. I think it's fun, and I always find it very interesting when people cheat on a Kardashian or a Jenner, just because it's like there's so much money there, there's so much like power there, and then these athletes like Tristan Thompson and Ben Simmons, they go out and like they cheat on these people that could just. For me, it's like, are you crazy? That's so weird.
What if?
But anyway, yeah, and then she said in that first. Yeah, in that first clip, she said, "Average-looking broke ass."
She called herself out. She was calling herself out. She's saying that he was cheating on rich Kendall Jenner for this average broke. She was calling herself out.
Yeah,
calling Ben out.
I think, and
have a little bit of better self-esteem. First of all, girl.
Right.
Like, second of all, like
I think nobody cares.
Everybody slides into everybody's DMs. Okay, like nobody cares if like Ben Simmons started to talk to you. Like, and Ben Simmons, like, finally just leave Kendall Jenner alone. She cheats on you every day. Like,
yeah.
So you think Kendall
Jenner fight? I don't know if y'all saw that trailer. She can't fight. She got no hands. Get you a girl with some hands.
Well, we got two. I got one thing I want to read before we get to a girl that got hands. But we're gonna get to that in a second. But first, we're gonna get to Josh Hart, and I'm really curious because we talked about the pineapple on pizza debate, and Josh Hart dropped this tweet yesterday saying, "Do y'all reuse a towel after you shower?" So I relay that question to you. Do you reuse a towel after you shower? I thought the answer was yes.
We're talking about the dry-off towel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
do. I mean, why wouldn't you? You're supposed to be clean at that point.
Yeah, I reuse it.
Saying.
Yeah,
the question confused me because I was like, are we not supposed to?
Hang it up to dry to use the
Yeah, that's why the hanging rack is there. That's the whole purpose of the hanging rack.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're doing bad things for the environment because washing your towels like every 2 days is not a cool thing to do. So
I will say,
reuse.
I don't reuse face towels. So if I wash my face, I don't reuse that one, the little small ones, just because I don't want like any germs on my face.
Put the nastiness back in your face. Got it.
I usually just wash my face and then use one of those disposable cleansing towels anyway. So so it doesn't. That's not really a thing. But when he said that, I was instantly like, "Damn, have I been doing this wrong the whole time? Is there something I don't know?"
No, he knew he was the owner. I don't have it there for Leo, but he tweeted after saying, "Damn, so I guess I'm the only one who uses a new towel every time." So,
well, you know what? Actually, my neighbor, I've realized, uses a new towel every single time as well, which I think is, it's a waste, Britt, like exactly what you were saying. It's so much water that you're using to wash towels that frequently, and it's just not necessary. Your body is clean. You can reuse it for a couple days. Don't reuse it for a month.
Right. Are you not confident that you, like, cleaned your ass good?
That's
like,
what it's got to be, right?
Okay, so that's what I was thinking, and I'm not going to say his name, but I have a friend who, after he does the latter, always takes a shower, and he disposes of the towel because he thinks he's washing.
Disposes, like he throws the whole thing away.
Like, he'll put it in the wash. And he washes it immediately because he feels like he just washed poo off, so he needs to wash the towel. So
Yeah, what's the ladder?
the number 2. I'm trying not to say.
He James Harden. Yeah, he James
Number
Harden
one
took
and
a
number
bath.
2.
Yeah.
Number 2 is the ladder. Come on, people.
Yeah.
She's like, wait, why would he climb a ladder and then shower every time after?
Oh my god.
Everybody.
Oh God.
Yo, this is it. That's what I thought. That's what I thought she was saying too. Because this said how he wipes with the towel. That's what I thought you were saying too. I'm like, wait, this man wipes with the towel and tosses the whole towel away. No, okay, I get it. That's wasteful.
When he had to go to the bathroom and then realized he didn't have toilet paper and used his rug to wipe his butt.
Oh no.
Oh my god, it's so good. Okay, wait, before we jump into the next update, I need to establish something from the last story you told about Kendall Jenner and Ben Simmons.
Okay.
Am I the only one who didn't realize that Kendall cheated on her boyfriends?
Yes.
Jackie, how do you know?
We've done tons of Fumble stories on it.
Yeah, and she's not shy about it. It's not like she don't even try to hide it. She's like, it's the guy.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy.
I did not realize this. Okay, I just wanted to, because Jackie, I saw your comment back to me in the chat. I'm like, I didn't realize.
That's the thing. Going back to we were talking about speaking of Kendall Jenner and not having hands. This girl right here, she got some hands, and she's out here fighting trees. Okay, fighting trees and fighting doors. I looked at this. I'm like, I'm trying to, because she hit so fast. I'm trying to see if her hands are wrapped. No, ladies and gentlemen, her hands are not wrapped. She is tearing up that poor tree with her bare fists. And if you could hear, she's going at the door.
There's Devin. Remember Devin?
Punching the air. Yes.
Yeah.
This is what I do. If you guys were wondering, there's holes all over my apartment.
Well, Devin.
I don't know if you guys know her, but she's been doing this since she was 4 years old.
Yes. Yep.
So.
Their family has a technique or a training technique that helps you punch with the swiftness, so you can do these kind of things like punching trees and punch. Can you imagine some dude's chest? Like, are they dead? If you hit them, if they're just standing still, getting hit like this, like that is insane.
In the face.
Right.
Dead.
You thinking about the chest? I'm thinking about the face. Face just
instant
closed in.
Yeah, I'm saying that's
right.
Dead, man. I don't know, but yeah, shout out to her. Look, I'm just saying. I never did before, but I would. If you're somebody in the chat that says, "Oh, you punch like a girl," all right, take that clip with you and say that again.
I want to see the kid that tries to bully her though.
Hey,
man,
don't ever cheat on.
Don't man. See, look. Oh,
yeah.
Praying for whoever. That's crazy.
Very impressive. Looks very painful for both the victim and her hands.
Yes.
Right. R.I.P. to that poor tree.
And her knuckles didn't even look like they were bloody or anything.
At all. I need a scientist in the chat to let me know if she hits it fast enough to the point where it just, I don't know, man. That's craziness.
That's what Flash does when he phases through.
It's like the Muhammad Ali and Sonny Liston fight when he had the phantom punch where he actually didn't look like he punched him, but he hit him so fast.
Right,
Yep.
Maybe it's something like that.
They figured that out in real life, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. All right, moving on to the last one. We got T.O. Now, we remember back, was it 05 when he was doing the sit-ups in his driveway and everybody was taking pictures? It was like 05, 04. It was back then when,
When
so now,
the Cowboys.
Yeah. So now he's brought it full circle because of everything going on with the coronavirus. He's calling it the T.O. COVID-19 sit-up challenge, where you sit up in, or you do 19 sit-ups in the driveway. And he challenged a lot of dudes, and now we're gonna have to wait and see if they accept the challenge. He challenged guys like Shannon Sharp, Chad Ochocinco, CP3, LeBron James, The Rock, and plenty of other people.
President Obama, he tried to challenge Barack Obama.
He's like, I want him. That's what he kept saying. I was like, all right, T.O., go ahead. But I'm going to say this. So we were talking about the push-ups challenge and not doing the push-ups and stuff like that. If you get challenged to do these 19 sit-ups, y'all doing them?
Yes.
Sure.
We'll do 19
I don't got a driveway, so.
Right, that's my excuse too. I'm going to say that. I'm like,
I don't driveway, though.
Go to somebody's random rich house and be like,
right.
"What's the challenge?"
Mix that with the Ballo challenge, and we doing it.
As long as you're alone, Chris, you're fine. Be alone.
I'm just here trying to follow the rules, so I can't do it. Now, maybe after, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, who's going to record it,
Right, exactly.
Tripod. Put your little phone on a tripod.
I don't have an iPod.
I got answers.
Dang. Shoot. I'll leave that to y'all, but that's it for
At least
post
it's
up.
only 19 sit-ups.
Right.
Right, it's not that bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
facts. That's fact.
We have somebody in the chat saying these challenges are getting really old. Please stop.
Please.
Yeah.
For Britt's case, because we were talking about angle, this angle's a lot better though. Like this is a solid workout angle compared to like being like all up in like his crotch squats and sit up.
Exactly.
Right.
He knows.
Forehead.
Terrell knows his angles. Okay, he's been on TV long enough to know which angles work well for him. You know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is that it for
That's
the
it.
post up?
Post up's
That's it.
over.
All right.
Jackie, take us into
So-
WTF.
WTF moments. We're going to start with Patrick Mahomes, easily one of a fan favorite, no matter whose team you're on, you're riding for. And he's humble, maybe a little too humble in this one, because Dave Campbell, Texas Football, tweeted, based on high school and college careers only, start one, bench one, cut one. Patrick Mahomes, Johnny Manziel, and Vince Young. And he said of those three, he definitely would be cut. What do you guys think?
Can I start? I think this
Yes.
is facts. Like, let's not forget Johnny Manziel was nominated and a finalist for the Heisman 2 times, won one of them. Like, Vince Young won a national title. Like, he also was a finalist for, like, the Heisman Trophy. Like, Vince Young is broken, like, records. Johnny Manziel was, like, a 2-time first team. Like, Patrick Mahomes was good at Texas Tech, but he wasn't amazing. Like, he went 10th overall or whatever in the draft, but, like, he wasn't, like, that actually wasn't a huge, like, year for quarterbacks, you know, which is why he was taken so high. Obviously, we know Johnny Manziel, historically, everybody was crazy that he was, like, went 20th or 22nd or something. Vince Young was, like, a 3rd overall pick going into the draft. Like, these guys were so good at the college level, like, it's insane. Like, of course, Patrick Mahomes was like a second team for the Big 12 once during his whole entire like college career. Like, he kind of was a late bloomer, and that's actually how it like works. Sometimes guys that are great in high school and great in college don't transition into the league. Well, Tim Tebow's one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time, but he didn't have a successful NFL career. I think Patrick Mahomes just kind of came late to the game, and now obviously if you look back on it, like, and look back on just the careers right now, like, even Vince Young, though, early in his career, he went to a couple Pro Bowls. He was decent at the beginning of his NFL career.
To watch too.
Yeah, so it's like I think this is 100% correct. I think he's honest in looking at this, and he's like, yes, maybe NFL-wise right now I'm way better than these guys, but, like, that high school and college level, like, Johnny Manziel and Vince Young were those dudes. Like, amazing.
But Patrick Mahomes in 2 years threw for over 11,000 yards and 93 touchdowns. In yardage alone, he surpassed both
he actually
Vince Young and Johnny Manziel, and had more touchdown passes and less interceptions.
Yeah.
So if I'm just looking at the numbers.
But he played for Texas Tech, and his team wasn't very well. He was never a finalist for the Heisman. And yes, he did. He had that one game I remember where he had like 700 and something like passing yards and broke the record for college football. So he's done good things, and obviously that's why he went 10th overall in the draft. But like I think as more guys, or these 2 other guys were more impactful to the game as college and high school players than Patrick Mahomes was.
I would cut Johnny Manziel for sure. And aside from what you're talking about, like, I get what he did in college, but he also had a ton of drama in college, and you knew out the gate that he wasn't all about football in college. So he would definitely got cut.
That's why his stock dropped in the NFL for sure.
Was that so? Yeah,
but I mean, he's still 2-time like finalist and won a Heisman. Like, I don't know. Like, he was a good football. Like, the reason why we all knew his name originally was because he was a really good football player.
Yeah,
he started getting the money Manziel when he started hanging out with people at like towards the end, you know. But we knew him because he was really good at football to start.
And also Vince Young too. I still believe that was a Jeff Fisher thing more than it was a Vince Young thing, but that's a conversation for another day.
But I loved Vince. I thought it was fun to watch every time he hit the field. It was just
even as a pro.
That Texas and USC championship game, one of the greatest college football games of all time, and he won it. You know, like.
Delano Steele Jr. is always like in the chat with these nuggets of like Good
My
wisdom.
guy Delano, yeah.
Yeah, or Delano. He says Vince Young was a victim of having no weapons when he played for Tennessee. His pro career would have been better if he had more than Chris Johnson. Yep. So that was I just thought that was an interesting.
That's what they're trying to do. Yeah. They're trying to do that to Deshaun now. So, yep. Feel it.
Yep.
All right. So now let's move on to some GOAT envy, a.k.a. Skip Bayless. Because he just has this overwhelming hatred of LeBron that I think Britt can relate to, but that doesn't stop him.
We're Cowboys fans too, me and Skip. So.
Yeah, nobody's perfect. We still love you though. But he has been a LeBron hater since before it was even cool to hate LeBron, and I'm not entirely mad at Skip for this because he is a huge admirer of MJ, and most people who really love MJ aren't big fans of LeBron for whatever reason. But I really think Skip is he feels about MJ the way I feel about LeBron, and he's taking it too far. Let's roll this clip where you can see the love in his eyes. It's cute.
But in the 69-point game, it wasn't a lot of attack the basket. It was mid-range jump shots. Boom, 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 boom. They just couldn't stop him, because nobody could stop that. Now we're starting to see Kawhi Leonard develop just the same weapon. But LeBron's never had a mid-range jumper like that.
So he's clearly falling in love with Kawhi now, which is fine. But I just want y'all to... he's in love with MJ, so he's falling more... I don't know how this whole love affair works for him.
For each other.
Yep.
We like all the same teams.
So that makes me Shannon. I'm Shannon. You're Skip and I'm Shannon. Skip. Come on, Skip.
Where's your cigar at? Where's your cigar?
Oh, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to have a cigar and some Hennessy. And then I'm going to for real be Shannon. But real quick before I get out of this one, I just want y'all to check the receipts and don't listen to Skip, because the man sometimes just don't know what the hell he's talking about. So let's roll the receipts real quick.
But I do want to say I am not a LeBron hater.
In the city of Cleveland than his buddy and business partner LeBron James ever was in the city of Cleveland.
You gonna tell me that Tim Tebow deserves to be
a bigger
mentioned
draw
in the
than
same
Kobe
battle
Bryant is
than
right
Kobe
now.
Bryant?
He's a bigger draw than Kobe Bryant. Yeah.
Go to break.
Feel free to laugh at this. Michael Jordan sat still at number 2 and took Austin Rivers. I wouldn't have a huge problem with that. That's how much I love this kid. The reason I can't put Steph Curry in there quite yet, he's just too...
This man, with all sincerity in his heart, said that Tim Tebow had a bigger draw than Kobe, and Johnny Manziel would be bigger in Cleveland than LeBron. And Steph is too little. Yeah. Go play on the highway, Skip. I'm done with you. I
can't. Oh, man.
And that's all I got for WTF moments. So now...
Oh, sorry. There's one more thing in here from Delano. I don't know why I'm trouble with that one. Just about this Jordan versus LeBron debate that everybody has. He says the problem is that the media wants to pit them against each other instead of appreciating what each player brings to the game, and I like that perspective. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think I said after Kobe died, I'm not doing picking and whatever against people. I don't hate LeBron James. I just don't think he's the GOAT of basketball. I do like what he does in the community, and I have said that right now he is the greatest player playing right now, but I just don't think he's the GOAT. So I just want to put that out there. I'm not comparing him to Michael Jordan, Kobe, no comparisons. He's just not my GOAT. But he is a decent human being, and I like him as a guy.
That's fair.
Yeah, my mug just says not my GOAT. It doesn't say I hate LeBron. It just says not my GOAT. Which is
all right. Well, we'll leave the kingdom of LeBron James and pass it on to Brit Takes then.
All right, Brit's Takes. So we are talking NCAA yet again. Obviously, they always do the wrong things, so it's usually in a negative light. This time I have a question on if you guys think that this is a good thing or bad thing that's happening. So the NCAA announced a couple weeks ago that they were most likely going to give the spring athletes another year back and possibly the winter athletes, but it wasn't confirmed. Well, as of Monday, they voted, and all spring sport athletes get another year of eligibility. This includes baseball, softball, outdoor track and field, lacrosse, tennis, golf, rowing, men's volleyball, beach volleyball, and women's water polo. This is actually not going to apply to winter sports. They will not get another year of eligibility. The reasoning being is because they completed most, if not all, of their season already, besides tournaments. Obviously, we know on March 13th, the NCAA canceled the tournament. It's not going to happen. If you were a senior or whatever, you're not going to get that year back because the actual season was already completed. An AD from Penn State said this of the decision. The council's decision gives individual schools the flexibility to make decisions at a campus level. The Board of Governors encouraged conferences and schools to take action in the best interest of student athletes and their communities. And now schools have the opportunity to do that. Now, what this actually means is normal athletes have 4 seasons to compete within a 5-year period. They're adding to that. So by doing that, they're giving schools the opportunity to expand their rosters to allow, room for the incoming freshmen and then the seniors that they thought were leaving to return again. So the rosters will be expanded. They're opening up the pool for financial aid for scholarships or whatever for the students. However, the interesting point of this is that the kids that were seniors that are now going to be returning for an additional year, the NCAA said that the schools have discretion on if they are going to give them their same scholarship that they had or lessen it and just give them less financial aid or less help or whatever, however they want to do that as far as housing and books and tuition and stuff. So they do not have to keep them on the same scholarship that they had them on the previous 4 years that they had already been attending there. And what was not addressed, obviously, which is a big thing right now, is food and housing. So because most of the schools, actually all the schools are currently closed, all of the athletes who stay on campus and their part of their scholarship is to just get, because they have 2 different options. So athletes that stay on campus, and then they eat in, the cafeteria at the school. And they get a smaller check than athletes who stay off campus and, have to pay for their own food and housing. So those are the 2 options. So the athletes that are currently on campus that get to stay in the house and eat in the cafeteria, well, school's been shut down, so they haven't been able to do that. So a lot of these kids, especially kids that are maybe foreign exchange students or came from different areas and couldn't afford to just go back home, right now had nowhere to go. So we talked about it a couple weeks ago, actually, because Liberty University came out and said that they were opening up their campus to the students again. There was a lot of why would you do that? The reasoning the president said behind that is to help the students that were living on campus. So they weren't opening up the classrooms, they were just opening up the campus for students. So the kids that live on campus and in the dorms and use the cafeteria can still use all that stuff, or need to go to the library can use the library. So they opened it. Obviously, it just was announced yesterday that a lot of those kids actually, or I think it was over 15 kids, actually contracted COVID-19, and so now they're going to have to go back and reclose the campus. And there's a bunch of kids leaving the campus because now they're really scared. But he was trying to do the right thing in order to help out the student athletes. So my question to you guys, and I'll answer my opinion first and then I'll give it to you guys, is did the NCAA fix the problem, or did they just remove themselves from the problem? Because they just kind of gave the eligibility open, but now said that students or the schools have the ability to cut what they're making or cut what the seniors are going to get in their scholarship for next year, so they might not get full scholarships even though they had that the previous 4 years. And then they didn't even address anything with food and housing, so all of these athletes kind of are still left well, what do we do? How do we eat? How do we whatever? Our scholarship money doesn't include housing and food, so what are we supposed to do as athletes? And a lot of these kids come from, poor families, and they were counting on this scholarship money. And the NCAA, I feel kind of just washed their hands of it and said, oh, well, if anybody gets in trouble or if all the negative things that are going to come of this, now we aren't held responsible because we just put it on the individual colleges to do as they choose to do with it. What do you guys think?
I agree. I think that if we knew the NCAA to be an organization that genuinely cares about their kids and consistently did the right thing, that we might look at this as them really just doing what the rest of us are doing and taking things day by day and not really knowing what you're doing, and maybe they made a mistake in this, but they're trying to find a way to ease the tension. But since that's not their MO, I think it's exactly what you're saying. I think that they're just removing themselves out of the situation so people can't say, oh, well, the NCAA didn't try to do anything. They're like, hey, we gave you guys the opportunity to fix it. We're putting it back on you because we can't fix everything. And so I do think it's a very, like, let's not take the blame for anything more so than it is a way of them trying to fix things. But Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I liked the initial step because I had said a few weeks ago when we were actually still in the studio that I was hoping that they would do that for winter sports. But as we talked about, and the more you think about it, yeah, they already played their season. It sucks that they didn't get their tournaments and stuff like that. So it's cool that they're giving the opportunity for, the spring sports. But then, yeah, just the other side of it where they're just leaving it in the hands of the schools, as they probably should, because they're probably going to get a better result in what ends up coming from all this. But it just seems just so like, that's not our problem.
Right.
Let you guys handle it. And, then we'll take all the credit because you guys are doing it amongst yourselves and we said it's okay. So it's just like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel. It's almost bittersweet.
If they had done the right thing up to now, how would you think you'd feel the same? That's what I'm...
Probably not. Yeah, if they had been, I would have seen. Yeah, I probably would have seen it a little bit more positively if they had shown to be an organization that does actually care about their kids. But I mean, even up to canceling the tournament and doing stuff that they did so late, it's just like it's hard for me to even see it that way. I see it. We all see it the way it's like, we don't want anything to do with this. You guys handle it. So it's
there's just, Seven. What do you think?
So, I wanted to call out some comments in the chat here. So Munty Legend says that this is actually a very tough decision for both the students and the governors. They don't want the virus to spread, but they don't want the kids to starve. So he's kind of on the fence here. But then we have our guy Delano saying they absolutely wash their hands of the issue by putting it on the schools to handle it at their own discretion. And and then Machiavelli says they're trying to avoid being responsible for the deaths of college students, or maybe a lighter way to put that is the illnesses of the college students. But I think when you put it on to the universities, you're supposed to be this
governing board, basically, all of them.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. A governing board, you're supposed to kind of set the regulations and set the plan in place, but when you leave it up to the universities, I think it is kind of just like pushing it away. So I'm with you guys on that one. I think that there could have been a better way to handle it, and it sucks for all the senior students who are, kind of still in limbo right now.
Yeah, and it's very interesting that of all things, the NCAA tries to we'll let the universities decide this one. This is it, because they always get in everybody's way and in everybody's business. And when it's coming to negative stuff, like with the athletes or whatever, they're number one, like, oh, what? You had a player that did this? Oh, we're stepping in and we're taking over, or whatever the case is. But now in an actual national crisis, a world crisis here, you guys want to say, we'll leave it up to you guys to do individually what you want to do. You guys could give them the same scholarship as next year, but you don't have to. And you could do this, but you don't have to do this. You could feed the students, but you don't have to feed them. And the NCAA's job is and should always be the priority and safety of the students. So I think at this time, more than any time you guys have ever stepped in, is the time now to step in and say, all the schools have to do this. You have to make sure you take care of the students first. You have to handle this like this. You should automatically have done that in the beginning. Obviously, we know how the NCAA is. They didn't do that, and I think just washing your hands of the situation is probably the worst thing to do, because the reason why the NCAA is created is because you guys have a group of students, and you guys need to protect the students, and you guys need to make sure everything's handled fairly and the same. Because if one school decides to give all of their seniors a scholarship for next year, full scholarship, and then the next school decides to just give them partial scholarships, so now those students have to work, that is not fair for the students. Then it's not fair for the athletic department either,
Yeah, it's a tricky situation, and there's so many different outcomes that can come of it now that they have handed it off to each university, so definitely complicates things. But you know what? That's time for our live show today, you guys. So let's wrap it up. We're going to be back again tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you tune in, subscribe, tap the bell, hit the thumbs up, and we'll see you later. Bye.